and some of them from some other places. I would have marked it down also, you can just see that. I don't know whether we should keep the questions for the later period or anytime, it has got no relevance. In case you have got some doubts specifically, you may please tell me, I can also try to clarify whatever is possible with my thing. This is open to start. Next please.
Next.
Yeah, this is a percentile jasana or jakana, however you spell it. This is a subordinate. See, you would have, anybody who have been going around Malikaran would have seen this percentile jakana very easily because it's very close to the MRTS station. They are breeding and they have got the eggs and all. People have been seeing from the bridge itself, you could have seen it also. The adult male has got a beautiful plume, completely yellow, the throat and all, white and a beautiful tail. That's why it's called a pheasant. Anything that has got a gorgeous tail or a thing like that, like peacock or something, this is called a pheasant. So this is a sapat. Again, this has been taken in Pulikat. You can see it is growing that tail. Can you give me a pointer or something?
Stick, just give it a stick.
That's it. I think the primitive pointer is much better when we are talking about nature. Okay? This comes as a plume. It comes as a beautiful plume. The entire color becomes more yellowish here up to this and white, contrasting with the dark brown pattern. This one is a younger one, or what you call as a juvenile or the subadult in the terminology that we use. It's generally in these kinds of things. And as I told you, you are very easy to spot these birds very close to MRTS station in Vedachan. They in fact lay their eggs also. I have been observing them for the last 3-4 years. They are continuously doing that. In spite of all the busy traffic and all those things, they feel a little safer. I don't know. Nobody is plundering the eggs, I believe. So still they breed prolifically there in that area. And this is of course taken at Kudri. Next please. This is a very, very common bird when you come across some paddy fields or any countryside for that matter. You need not go anywhere else. Probably in the olden days, all this area beyond this lattice bridge would have been paddy fields or something like that, swamps and all. This is what is called a flying prenia. Its old name is a beautiful name actually. For people who are interested in it, it's called a flying wren warbler. Wren warbler. Warbling is, as in English, it is got some kind of a chatting like or incessant calls. That's called warbling. It's a very good name actually. It's a wren warbler. It keeps on calling incessantly. During breeding time it makes very good acrobatics, dives and all those things. They keep on chattering during the breeding time. Other times also it was, but I'll play less of it. And this is a flying prenia, which is adjacent to the paddy fields in the Kudri tank. You can see very nice small birds like this size of a slightly bigger than a sparrow with a longer loosely tucked in tail, all those things. It's a flying prenia. You have got a cousin of his called the jungle prenia, which is found generally in a little forested areas, not on the open fields like paddy fields and all those things. This is also one of the common birds which you can come across. This has also been taken in Kudri. Next please. This is a whiskered tern. Whiskered terns are the first to arrive during migration. Possibly for people who have been observing birds, doing bird watching over a period of time or at a particular place or anything, you can observe during the 15th of September or slightly around that date. The first to arrive will be the terns. And this is the most common tern which you come across in these birds, apart from some few Caspian terns and all those things. This is a whiskered tern. And the Tamil word is a very good name. It's called ala. People used to say, yeah, ala parakka. So that's the way it hunts. It keeps on shuffling over the marshes, over the lands, and they keep on getting small fishes and all those things. Yes, please.
What is the Tamil name of the previous bird?
Prenia.
Previous one.
That is a prenia, you mean?
What is the Tamil word for?
Tamil name is Silambar. Silambar.
Not a Kuruvi.
See, warbling, I told you, I told you also. Why it is called a warbler? Because it keeps on wobbling. In English it's called warbling. In Tamil you call it a silambik. Something like similar to that. Silamba. But I don't know exactly because the names differ from region to region also. Colloquially also there is a lot of difference. What you call it here may not be applicable in Coimbatore district, may not be applicable in Nilgiris. There are lots of differences in the local parlance also. So generally that is called silamba. Okay? And this is ala, the whiskered tern, which is one of the early migrants to arrive here in our parts. It will be on any swamp, just going around, going around, going around. Next please. And this is one of the, as I told you, the bioindicators. It's very easy. If you find a damselfly somewhere, then you can take it for granted that the water is so good, so pure. You don't need to do anything with that water. Damselflies are very partial to running streams and where water is absolutely not polluted. So damselflies are there means it's very easy for you to judge that this is a fantastic waterfly on the surface. Water is beautiful there and you can safely drink the water. We are under the mistaken belief because of our the Western standards, so-called Western standards. We tend to get, I think, a lot of things. We forget about our roots and we forget about the best practices we have. This is one classical example.
It's nothing but Tumbi, right?
Huh?
It's nothing but Tumbi?
Not Tumbi. Tumbi is dragonfly. This is damselfly. I don't know exactly what is the common name, but there is a name. But I cannot recollect right now. I'm sorry. I will get it for you if you want. There is a name for it. And they are called the jewels of the water. They are given because there are lots of variations in this. This is one variation which I have got it in Padri. They are really like jewels. Emerald color, then turquoise blue. Tell any color, it will have fantastic colorations here for damselflies. And their mating and other displays, if you have got time, you can see. They see Tumbi, the difference as I told you. Tumbi will not have these wings parallel, like it will have perpendicular. Damselflies only will have it parallel to the body. That's a very easy identification that this is a thing. Okay? Next please. Yeah, this is again Kudri. One large egret is on the foreground. See, you can see the flat head. Egrets are plenty. As you know, there are lots of white birds which stand in the water. All are egrets in there. Little egret, medium egret, and large egret. This flat head you can see. No other egret will have a flat head like this. It will all have a rounded heads. And the size is also, of course, you can make out easily the size. There on the last background is the painter star along with the egret. This is the one Kudri tank. It is just waiting in the shallow waters profession. This is one of the things. And you get a lot of waders in these areas. This is called larger waders. Smaller waders will also be there. This is one of the shots from Kudri tank. And this is how to identify between the egrets. Of course, I will show you the smaller egret as the slides go on. Next please. Can you see a bird in this? How many of you can see? Almost all or some of you will can see. I will not point out, I will not use the pointer for the time being at least. How many of you can see? Really, you tell me. Okay. Not bad, I think. This is the bird here. You can make out the silhouette. You can see? That's a snipe. Possibly, in my opinion, it's a common snipe. So I have not named it because I have doubt about it, identification. So I have just put it as snipe. They are highly camouflaged birds. See, just they fly and then sit. You don't know where it's. You know it as that, but you cannot identify. Such is the beautiful camouflage, the colorations, cryptic coloration they have got. They absolutely merge with the surroundings and you don't know. Till the bird moves a little bit or it pecks at something. Otherwise you will never know there is a bird there. These are all some of the few birds where the cryptic coloration is so good, the camouflage is excellent. That just as you will you come up to this point, you will never know there is a bird. The one more step, then that fellow will start. Then only you know there is a bird. This is another one is sandroos. So some of you who have been initiated bird watching will know what's a sandroos. Like that, all these birds will be there. These are all highly camouflaged because they are mostly ground nesters, and they have to protect their young ones only through camouflage. They have got no other choice. For survival, they have to use their cryptic coloration and camouflage. That's why they are all very successful, and still they are breeding. And this is again another migrant. There is a jack snake also that is coming now. But I am not very sure from where they come and all those things. But it's a migrant, it's not a local bird. Next. This is a general assemblage you get anywhere you go for birding. See, this is a kudri tank as I told you again. See how many of the birds are there in the shallow water, feeding for themselves, foraging. Some. See, this is a good association, congregation of larger birds. These are all painter stars, standing. Some of them are preening their feathers, some are just sitting. And these are all flamingos. These are all subadult flamingos, not fully grown. Egrets again, as I told you. This is again egret. All these birds, mixed gathered. See, this is another easy way to identify birds. How do you do bird watching? How do you derive pleasure out of it? See the foraging behavior of a flamingo here. The flamingo has got an inverted beak. See, it doesn't feed like other birds. They directly don't get things. Instead, they put it like this because they have got a sieve-like apparatus in their bill. They take the mud and water and everything along with that in that beak. The water and other things get sieved. That is, to be very clear, that is how it works. And microorganisms, they feed on them. Probably you would have heard about it. And they eat a lot of these phytoplanktons and photoplanktons and all those things. And because of that only they get that beautiful color also, that rose color also. That's one of the reasons they get that rose color is because of the amount of this microorganisms they eat, and they give them that pink color. Possibly what spirulina is derived. You are selling that in market and you are eating it. That kind of a stuff these fellows eat.
Are these greater flamingos?
These are all greater flamingos.
So they change color.
It comes as a pinkish bird. It gives pink and black, more pinkish and black. But total pink and total black is a lesser flamingo. Its size is different. Of course, the beak shape is also slightly different between the greater and the lesser. This is generally nowadays I don't see because I don't know what's the problem. That's a good question that was. Lesser flamingos are seen very less nowadays. I don't know what's the reason. Earlier it used to be a lot of the equal amount of lesser flamingos used to be there, but nowadays I don't see lesser flamingos to that extent as we used to see greater flamingos. Possibly, I don't know whether the migration is not there or whether they are migrants or not. There is always two school of thought. One school of thought is that they come from Rana Beach. Another school of thought says no, they are coming from South Africa. Because the lesser flamingos are predominantly seen around Mount Kilimanjaro, as many of you might have seen. Those who have been seeing Animal Planet or National Geographic channel would have seen that beautiful flamingo episode of an hour or two on that channel. Probably they are all in the Kilimanjaro and all those things. That's how the school of thought goes up. But we don't have very good ring records of flamingos except one at Point Calumet which has been recovered, which has been ringed at Tehran and Iran. That was long back I am talking about, not now recently. Now, recently about the migration study, since we are on the topic, I can tell you some information on migration. Recently there has been a good migration study on barred goose. BNHS with the FAO of America, that is Food and Agricultural Organization of America, who wanted to do something on these bird flu episodes. They had a joint program and they did some good ringing of these birds, barred goose especially. And it has been, without doubt, has been established that they are mostly from Mongolia and the birds of China. Probably right up to reaching up to some northern end of China and all those things. So they have intermittent stops. A very, very common bird once. Not so common now. This why I included, you may ask, then I wanted to show you, as I told you, my interest is not only to give you any tips on bird watching, I was more interested in conservation. That's one of the reasons why I included. This is called a roller, Indian roller, or in Tamil they call it as panangadi. See, the name itself is very indicative. Panankade. Wherever Palmyra palm used to be there, these birds used to be there. And now you know, where is Palmyra palm? Palmyra palm itself is becoming a rare now. It's not a very common sight. Earlier it used to be a very common sight. These were providing very good nesting for these birds. So they were dependent. That's why the Tamil name comes as Panankade. So this is the Indian roller or the blue jay, they call it. It's a beautiful bluish thing. When it flies, you can see it's a beautiful blue. It's so lovely bird that is. But its habitat is slowly being usurped by, probably in the name of civilization, we are losing that habitat. Yes, first Palmyra palm goes, then agricultural field goes, then the fallow lands go. Fallow lands, in our opinion, is useless. We feel that's why the name the fallow comes. The land is of no more use, we can use it for anything. Actually, we are not very sure about the ecology, why there is intermittent fallow lands between wet, very fertile lands. That's one way of, I think, nature's balance. To keep the good ones intact, you need some kind of a buffer. Probably it is a natural buffer, not the man-made buffer. Yeah, see, it adjoins wetlands also. You have this fallow lands adjoining wetlands also. That's a good foraging area, resting area, so many things are there. Actually, wildlife has to thrive with all these conditions. If you just to give them only a wetland, or you say that a wetland with a deep water around 5 feet, 6 feet, no birds will be able to. They need shallow waters, they need some foraging area. This is a holistic way of looking at things. That's why I have included some, thinking that this will be reflected in what I talk. So I thought of including all these things. The roller is becoming very rare now, not so rare, but it is slowly, the difference is telling on us. Yeah, earlier it used to be very much around Chennai, I remember, but now I think very difficult to see around Chennai at least. Maybe it will not, yeah, possible, around that. Next please. This is another very common bird which used to be. If you go to Kanyakumari district or somewhere around where the natural wetlands are available around the houses itself, you might be seeing, especially in the Nagarkoil district. Every, like Assam, every house will have a small pond in front of it. So you will see one, what do you call this, jacana, or this purple moorhens and all those things. But nowadays they are becoming rare. This is again taken in Puliki. So this is the purple moorhen, or what do you call Mayil Kal Pori or Mayil Pori, because it has got the color of a peacock. So it is called purple moorhen. So it is easy to see. Moorhens have got different kinds of beaks, you can see that. The beak is thick set, very different. These are all some of the identification factors. That is how we go about. This is the Kudri tank. Next please. Yeah, this is the thing. So far we have seen Kudri tank. See, you have seen an egret. You have seen a roller. You have seen a warbler. You have seen a purple moorhen. You have seen the flamingos. So, painter's tracks. So many things you have seen. So, 3 easy steps to bird identification. So, you can just read. Observation is the most critical step for identifying whale birds. Of course. Without doubt, that is the best solution. So, it is also one of the most that birders don't spend enough time on. Because, the reason I will tell you, why this has become more common now is because of the campus. It's not the case, as I told you. There have been a lot of instances. Recently also there have been a lot of studies that have been revealed that many of the migrants have never been sighted, but now they are slowly getting sighted. Again, the plus point of photography is this only. Accidental photography also leads to some new identifications. Yes, so it has to be used in the judicious way, that's all. See, unusual marking shapes, how we can identify birds? I may not tell you too much, I think. Bill. Number 1, bill means beak, or what you call the beak, yeah. Shape, color, length, cut. You will saw. I told you about flamingo. Flamingo has got almost a broken beak. You can say, I don't know whether that old, I believe that's an old song of Tamil literature relates to flamingo only. But there are people who believe that, no, you are wrong, it relates to painter's trap. See, that word very clearly says, Panambodu Kirangin, Alavu Pilandanna, Pavadakurvai Sengal Nara. See, if you break, anybody who have eaten that Palmyra palms, that I don't know what is that called. Panangadanga is something, what a chicken. That's flamingo movement, and other. நான் சொல்றேன் பட் சில பேர் சொன்னாங்க இல்லை சார் அது பெயிண்டர் ஸ்டார்டோட so that different but see these are all things which can very easily you can relate because he sends a poet sends a message that when the flamingos come so that's relating to migration so I say it is only related to flamingo not painter star that's the number one and of course again you have got a pointed sharp bill painter star you have got a pointed sharp bill then roller you have got a different bill and you have got some more has got so these are all things which you can very easily know these if you know these things then your basic identification of the bird is very easy. At least you can come up to that. You can say it's a warbler. You can say it's a sunbird. You can say, you may not know which sunbird and which warbler it is, but at least you will be knowing about the warbler. This brings you more intimate with that denizens with which you live. See, instead of I knowing you, I don't know. I know you from Tekes Club. Suppose I know your name, it will be better, isn't it? That's it. You say it's a lovely bird, that's it. But if you know the bird, name of the bird, or how it is, you get more intimate with that. And that's how you have built your relations with your nature or environment around you. That's one of them. And number two is color. Yes, purple, Murugan has got that purple color. Peacock, you know, he has got the iridescent and all sorts of colors. So other things are there. Negret is of course pure white. All these things which you can markings, special markings can distribute. Stripes, dots, bands on the bird's wings, head and tail. You can very easily see size. As I told you, size comes when you are differentiating between the birds of the same species. Probably acres, as I told you. What's the difference between a little egret and a medium egret and a large egret or ibises? What is the difference between a black ibis and a white ibis? All those things. That will be very easy to identify also. Habitat, of course. Habitat is the most important thing which you should always bear in mind when you are going for bird watching. Suppose you are going to a forest, you have got your task pattern very clear in this. You can eliminate most of the birds related to water. Because you are not going to see big water bodies inside. Of course, small ponds and all those things are there. There will be find some water birds. But by and large, you will not see many water birds. Whereas in Pulicat, you can totally safely exclude all the forest birds. Safely. Not that you won't see one at all. You will see. Because you would have seen, as I told you, if you are a very keen observer of this, some of the sites, recently they have posted the beautiful photograph of a peregrine falcon or what you call the old name was Shaheen falcon. Shaheen falcon was seen in Pulicat because it's opportunistic feeding. Again, Shaheen falcon gets a lot of prey when these waders, small waders come in the foraging areas. So they get good feed, so they naturally come. But it's supposed to be a bird related to dry scrubland where rocky cliffs are there like Senji Fort or some other place and all those things. But still they are seen in that area also. Of course, the European peregrine falcon is also seen in Pulicat. Sometimes, not regularly, but should be seen. Because it's a migrant, it follows the waders, along with them it comes, then along with them comes the anglers. All those things are there. So they have, nature has got its own cycle. So habitat is more important when you are going for bird watching. Because you can very clearly have an idea about what you are going to see, what you are not going to see. Absolutely, the habitat gives you a better idea about it. That's what I told you. When you are going for bird watching, you are not only doing the joyous job in the world, you are getting very good peace of mind, you are getting very good results also, you get some noted for your what you call caliber to distinguish between species and all those things. Apart from that, you are getting a very good idea about what is nature as a whole, what is the ecosystem as a whole, how ecosystem functions, which I feel is the ultimate point which we have to go about. Next please. This is again a small bird, the size of our thumb. The smallest bird, flower pecker. In the usual call you get it in the forest is chip chip. That's it. You don't see the bird much. You try to get the bird when it's flying across, you give a chip chip. That sound only. That sound. There are about 3 species which you see in our parts of this country. One is the pale billed, another is stout billed or the long, other one. Then one more thing is the tickers. These 3 things you generally see. So this is, you can see the flesh colored bill. The earlier name was not pale bill, it was a black bill or something. Then it was, the old name was that. It's a small bird, exclusively thriving on this small flowers and honey and all these small insects. And they build very lovely nests also. These these are all things which you are very happy to know. That's one of the joys of bird watching is about that. And you immediately you see a flower packer means the habitat has got some fruiting trees, some flowering trees, some small garden at least, not a big forest. At least you have a garden here. All those things. Next please. This is not only birds, see the nest, the architecture. Very inimitable style. See, I don't think anybody can replicate also. Everybody knows about Bayan birds. That's why I omitted Bayan, because everybody will be giving the nest of a Bayan weaver bird, which is still a mystery, how they are able to build so beautiful nest. And they are better architects than us. And this is the red-rumped swallows. On a building like this, they attach this mud with the saliva, make a beautiful tunnel like this, retort shape. That's the entrance. This is the entrance. The bird goes in and lays eggs here, chamber, and they feed it. And any old dilapidated building where there is not much of habitation, or even in habitation, this was taken, you won't believe, in the forest quarters at Satyamangalam at Jerevan.
How it would be inside chamber?
Let's say this size it is.
Kind of a room? This room inside.
Yeah. See, it is a retort shape, I told you. This is only an entrance. The egg chamber is here. It is a cozily lined up with some twigs, some grass, all those things, some feathers, cotton, cobwebs. You won't believe it will be so luxurious. Then your bed, I believe. Saliva and mud. They pick up mud. You would have seen that there's a fantastic thing. It reminded me about that. When you go for bird watching, these are all the biggest joys you get. And sometimes when they are in the nesting season, if you go down, then nearby there will be a swamp area or a small pool or something where water will be leaking and it will be making the other parts muddy and all, like what you get after the first rains. These small birds will be just flying, picking small pellets of the mud, one by one, and keep on sticking and nesting. Fantastic. You can stay with them for 2-3 days. It will be much more rewarding. The industry is the excellent thing that you come across is something you have to see and do. I can only just give you an idea. That's it. It's for you to keep it up. This is on the ceiling. Ceiling. It's a house I told you. The forest department's quarters. This house is inhabited, but unfortunately that forest fellow was not having his family, he was a single loner. So he used to come at odd times and he was not doing anything there, not even cooking. So the birds found them to be an ideal place and they started building a nest there. And even in our presence, in fact I would have taken a photograph also, but for some other reasons I decided not to do it. Because I am making them more conspicuous, so I felt that I should not do the job of getting somebody into this who unwantedly may do some damage to this. So I didn't want to wait here to take the photograph of the bird coming in. Otherwise I would have done that also. Because the birds were very confiding. They were not at all bothered about your presence. They were very good. Next please. Sorry for the interruption. Hello, Venkat. Getting very here. The next place. This is a small blue kingfisher. Again, like the Indian roller. Now it's becoming quite rare. It's not seen very easily as it used to be seen in some about 10-20 years back. This is a classic pose of a kingfisher waiting for its prey. See the amount of concentration and the intent nature with which it is looking at the water surface below. He's just waiting for that some trickle or some movement there, immediately he will just dart. And you know anything about this? This is a very interesting feature which maybe would like to know also. About nature, this is what I am telling you. Nature has got some fantastic behavioral things. The kingfisher, you see the kingfisher fishing in the early mornings, around 6 to 8. It will never fish vertical. It will come only from a slant angle to catch the prey. When it is mid-noon, it will be vertical. Again in the evening, it will come only slant. No. See, The way to judge is better at a slant angle when the sun is not on the top. Understand? See, nobody has taught them all these things. No? These things, no, very interesting to observe these things, small things. Very interesting, and these birds to do it. White kingfisher, of course, you would have seen in Kerala probably. White kingfisher is plenty there. Even there, I think small kingfishers are not very often seen. They are seen very, very. I think their habitat is slowly going out because they want a little shallow pools where stagnant water is there. That kind of habitat is nowadays not there much. So they are going out or fast losing their way out actually. But I don't think it's very alarming, but still, these are all changes which impact on the birds. Next please. Yeah, of course. I have deliberately put this. There has been no